I think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to a loan officer, there's value in the 25 years of experience you have putting deals together, right?
I'll know ahead of time if it's going to work or not. And knowing ahead of time what could potentially be a red flag or could cause a hiccup in the loan.
Welcome to Henderson HQ. This is the podcast where you get all the stories behind the businesses that make our community tick. Don't forget to subscribe to our weekly newsletter. Hey, it's Scott with the Henderson HQ podcast and newsletter. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing my business partner, Leah James Vega. She is a loan officer here in town who I partnered up with a couple years ago to hand off my mortgage business to. She's awesome. So whether or not you're thinking about buying a home or not, even if that's a couple years out, great podcast to check out. A lot of misnomers and urban legends about who can and cannot become homeowners. Leah goes through all that. And also, as a Henderson native, she's seen all the transformation on the east side of town, Water Street. She went to basic high school, which we talked about that a little bit. So whether you just want to know about the Henderson local scene or you want to hear a little bit about what's going on with the economy, the housing market, potentially buying a house, great episode. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey, it's Scott Rose with the Henderson HQ podcast and newsletter. I'm actually here with my very good friend and business partner, Leah James Vega, who thankfully I found a couple of years ago to take over my business in the mortgage space as I'm moving more into coaching and facilitating this newsletter. So we're going to interview Leah today, talk all about what's going on in housing, interest rates, markets, what it's like to be a lifelong Hendersonian. I think that's the correct term because I think she's maybe the only one I met out here so far that's born and raised in Henderson. And we'll just go from there. So Leah, most importantly, are interest rates going up or down? Because you have a crystal ball, right?
Oh, man. They are trending down.
Okay.
So
that's a very PC answer.
Yes. And yes, they are trending down. But I think just with everything, we read and that's been going on the last few months that they should be definitely in 2026 going down.
Yeah. You and I have been doing this a long time, like both at it like 25 years. And it just seems like it doesn't matter what the rates are, whether they're 3%, which I don't think that's ever happened in our lifetime again, or they're 6% or they're 9% or whatever. Every realtor and every client I've ever talked to at any interest rate is like, oh, that's pretty high, huh? And I'm like, well, what do you want? Like historically, they've been about 8. They're in the 6s right now. That's actually historically pretty good. So why do you think that's like the only conversation realtors and clients know to ask? What's interest rate? What's interest rate? What's interest rate?
I think that's just what they've been taught to ask.
Yeah.
So instead, just ask, what do you want your payment to be?
Yeah.
Like that's what's gonna drive if you're willing to buy or not. Is let's see what you could afford and what your monthly payment's gonna be.
Yeah. You've been in Henderson your whole life, right?
Since I was 5.
Okay. Almost born and raised.
Yeah.
Raised and kind of born.
Yes.
How long you been doing this crazy job of mortgages, housing, working in that space?
Since 98.
90. Oh, you got me by 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much has Henderson changed in that 27 years?
Oh my gosh, a lot. It was basically desert, and we were out in BFE. There was nothing out here, and there was Boulder Highway. And so you had to go down Boulder Highway to get to like anywhere you wanted to go in Vegas. So it was crazy. It's totally different. There was one high school, basic high school.
Where'd you go to high school?
Basic high school.
Whoa, you went to basic high school.
Yeah.
That's how much of a local I am not. I've only been here for 4 years. The name of the first high school in Henderson was just called Basic High School.
Basic high school.
They couldn't come up with something more creative. Henderson High or something?
You know what? I've read about this too, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it has to do with like the mining and the dam. And so it was something, it wasn't like basic, you're so basic. It was actually, there's a meaning behind it. And I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
All right. Well, one of the things I love about going out anywhere in Henderson with you is I always joke that you're like the mayor of Henderson. Everywhere you go, you're like, oh, that's the owner of this place. And this is somebody I went to high school with. And it's like, you just know everybody. So when I tell people that like I moved to Vegas because they don't know where Henderson is, they're like, oh, you moved to Vegas? I'm like, yeah, I live in the suburbs. It's just like any other suburb. I don't live on the strip.
Right.
But I've been surprised with like how little a town like Henderson is. Like there is a lot of people here, several 100,000, but it's like everywhere we go, you know somebody.
Yeah.
So tell us about growing up in Henderson and like how much it's grown and how you somehow got to know everybody.
Well, I love Henderson. I think it's like you either love Henderson or you love Summerlin, and I love Henderson. And I love it because of the hometown feel, and it's a small town, and you can go on Water Street and it's being revitalized, and you see everybody that you would see at the grocery store or whatever just hanging out, and you have the car shows and you see everybody there. It's like a little reunion all the time. But yeah, I love it. Like I said, I've been here my whole life, and my husband likes to think he's the mayor, but it's really, you know,
You are definitely the mayor.
because I helped him get to that point. But it's okay.
Tell us about Water Street, because I'm sure that's gone through a massive evolution. Like, it's changed a lot just in the 4 or 5 years I've been here. I can only imagine the evolution that you've seen.
Yeah, so that used to be when I was young, because I lived right off of Water Street. My dad still lives in the same house that I grew up in. So I was on Water Street a lot, just walking around. The library was on Water Street, and so we would just, be walking around everywhere. So there was a lot of businesses back then when I was young, but then they all kind of disappeared. The economy took a crap, and then it just started getting revitalized, and now all these businesses are coming back, and we have restaurants and bars, and they're trying to make it really like, trendy and people hanging out, and you can kind of bar hop and enjoy good food, and it's totally changed.
So give us your insider scoop of like what your favorite spots on Water Street are. I know you have a favorite, like couple favorite watering holes.
I do. I have the best dive bar in town, Gold Mine. And then I would have to say our good friend Luke, and it's his family business, Johnny Mac's Tavern on Water Street. Those are our two favorites.
Johnny Mac and Goldmine. I meandered into Goldmine, actually did a little video on it because at the car show that I was at a couple weeks ago, they had like a Beatles cover band in there.
Yeah.
And they were playing a bunch of like 60s and 70s classic rock. And then the place was just super vibrant with like the amount of people, but it also felt like every dive bar I ever went to in the Army. So I loved it. It was like not corporate, kind of dive bar feel, but like safe feeling. If this makes any sense to people that have spent a lot of time in dive bars like I have, thanks to my days in the Army. But it's just like a cool vibe, like local, but appropriate.
Yeah, it is. And it's been here forever. I mean, it's been here forever. I remember it used to be a biker bar when I was growing up, when I was a little girl. And my mom, if I had to walk home from school, she'd be like, "Don't walk in front of the gold mine. You walk on the other side of the street." And like, it's just so funny how things have changed. Now I hang out there sometimes. So,
What's your favorite restaurant to eat down there?
oh, Azura. I think Azura.
Azura's.
I love Azura. That risotto is ridiculous.
Tell us about Azura and Azura Wine Bar and the coffee shop and how closely related to that you are.
So my daughter works at the coffee shop, Public Works, and that place is amazing. The same owner owns Azura right next door, and they have amazing food, which I don't think a lot of people would realize what great food that restaurant has, because it's just tiny and it's kind of, hidden. We went there. Did you like it?
I loved it. It's kind of like an interesting Italian bistro fusion. Like I've now been back there 3 times since we went.
Oh, okay.
And like everything on the menu is great.
Yeah.
And I like how small it is and how quaint it is, and you can see the kitchen and you can see how your food's being made. Like I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't think a lot of people know about it. I mean, they know about it, but they don't really know it's really good food.
Yeah. I feel like bad restaurants don't make it in Vegas because there's so many great eateries on the strip, and like you can go to a random strip mall sushi joint in Henderson, Boulder City, Summerlin, and it has to be good because the competition is so fierce.
Right. And there's good restaurants. There's Chinita's. That's right there. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
What else is there? There is
also
also
that wine bar you like, right?
it's called Rock and Grapes or something, I think.
Okay.
I always forget what it's called. Rock and Grapes, I think it is. And they have like really good hummus and charcuterie, and I mean there's all kinds of stuff down there.
It's funny because I've been coming up here frequently since the 80s when my uncle moved up here, and everything in Vegas, all the boom and bust cycles, everything was really just defined by like gaming and entertainment. And I feel like the city has made like a big push to bring other industries into the valley, right? Like tech companies and manufacturers and whatnot. But on YouTube, everybody will tell you Vegas is the worst place to buy. It's going to crash, yada, yada, yada. Like you've been here through a few boom and bust cycles. Do you feel like things have changed, or is there anything different about the economy now than you remember it, 20, 25 years ago, like the type of people you're doing loans for?
I mean, it's still a lot of, service industry people, I think. And we have great programs available for those people now too, like bank statement loans. But I think it's definitely a wider variety because of, like entertainment coming to Vegas. We're getting a lot of the California people in the entertainment industry that are moving out here. So I think it's a different, I don't know. And I mean, we have a lot of executives that have moved out here. We have the tax break. And so I don't know. It's a different crowd. It's higher end where I think it used to be very, our sales prices used to not be very high.
Right.
Now, like there's, $1 million homes, $2 million homes. So it's definitely different than it used to be.
Yeah. So I know from doing mortgages forever, like the two biggest misconceptions or urban legends is like you have to have 20% down and you have to have the 2 years of tax returns that are perfect in order to qualify. And you kind of alluded to this idea of like bank statement loans. Not that I would recommend anybody commit tax fraud, of course,
Yeah.
but we work in a city where a lot of people get paid cash and a lot of people are entrepreneurs where they're taking advantage of every possible write-off that they can take. So can you just quickly dispel those two myths of like, you don't actually need 20% down and you don't have to have perfect tax returns and pay stubs to buy a home? Just talk a little bit through like how much of that has become your business and what type of programs they are and what you can do.
Yeah. So you can buy a home with minimum 3% down. You don't have to have exact, perfect credit. There's so many different types of loan, conventional, FHA, that you can have, really not great credit, actually.
Right.
I don't want to say crappy credit, but it's not great. And then the bank statement loans, they are good for, tip earners and that type of thing, but they're also good for self-employed buyers that do tend to have a lot of write-offs at the end of the year. So you're basically using an average of 12 months of deposits in your personal or business account, and we average that 12 months to come up with a monthly income. So, people that do a lot of deposits with cash for tips or whatever, they have an opportunity to buy, using exactly what they really make instead of, what they show on paper.
Yeah. I remember years ago when I first got introduced to bank statement loans, I did it out of necessity because I had a friend who was a contractor. I know he was very wealthy, made a lot of money, and I just wrote a pre-approval letter for him like on the fly because he needed one Saturday night. And then I get his tax returns on Monday morning, which is not a good practice as a loan officer. I was like, oh my God, like on in your real life, I know how much money you make. On paper, you make $65,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so, of course, like him and his wife's car was running through his business. So that was a tax write-off. Every time they ate out or went to Cabo, that was a tax write-off. So all of a sudden, where he was really making a couple $100,000 net, on paper, he was showing like $65,000 of income. So we used the bank statement program and we showed deposits. And I think his loan qualification went from like $300,000 to like 1.4 million.
Mhm.
It was that dramatic.
It is.
Have you seen stuff like that?
Yep.
Like looking at people's tax returns versus
All the time.
statements?
All the time.
Yeah. How do you explain that to clients when it's like, hey, no judgment, but you're going to get a slightly higher interest rate
Yep.
to do this bank statement loan, but like you can't qualify over here. Telling a business owner that on paper they're broke,
Yeah.
that's a tough conversation.
Yeah, but they know, they know that you're a business owner. You get to use write-offs. So yeah, so you're saving some money and paying taxes, but you might have to pay a higher interest rate if you want to buy a house. Or you start not doing the write-offs on your tax returns and pay more taxes. So it's like a double-edged sword.
So you can give the IRS $70,000 or your mortgage payment can be a couple $100 higher.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting. What are you seeing as far as people that are thinking about buying? Like, is there a lot of fear right now? I know 8 months ago, half the country didn't want to buy a house because Biden was president. He was going to crash the economy. And now half the country doesn't want to buy a house because Trump's the president. He's going to crash the economy. And all people see is the negative Nelly news and YouTube videos about the market's going to crash. Well, they've been saying that since 2012. Like, what are you seeing as like an impediment that's stopping people? Like maybe they can afford it. Maybe the payment even makes sense with what they're paying in rent because rents aren't getting any cheaper in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, what are you seeing that is like slowing people down from buying?
I think people are still worried that the market's going to crash. And, they always reference like 2008. It's going to be 2008. I'm like, it's not going to be 2008. It's definitely not the same market. We're not doing no income, no asset loans. It's totally different. There's laws in place that have stopped all of that. We're still seeing, growth, and our houses are going up. I think it's like 6% every year for the past 3 years or something like that.
Yep.
So it's I just try to instill that in people that, don't read all the what the media is saying. It's a little on the ridiculous side.
Yeah, I've seen your presentation that you do with buyers where it's like you can go through every year since like 2012 and pick a highlight or a headline from CNBC or the Wall Street Journal, oh, this year property values are going to go down. This year property values are going to go down. And those poor people that have been waiting on the fence in Henderson, they're now going to pay $100,000 more for a house than they would have 5 years ago, right?
Yep.
How much have you seen property appreciate in like the 27 years that you've been doing this?
Oh my gosh. My mom bought the house that I grew up in for $36,000. And let's see. I don't want to age myself here but
Too late. You already started in 90.
Yeah, so it's just crazy. And I think that house is worth, like $375. It's still a little town site home. But I mean, even the town site homes, it's like that's $375 now.
Explain what town site homes are for people that don't know what you're talking about, because I thought this was fascinating.
I think they were built for the workers that were building the dam. And so it was basically they weren't meant to stay. They were like temporary housing for these dam workers. And they called them town site homes, and they're tiny. The house I grew up in is like 700 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. We didn't have AC. We had a wall heater. So like it's really times have definitely changed.
Yeah, because now the housing tract right across the street is like 4-bedroom, 3-bath, new development homes. Those are what, $600,000-$700,000? Oh my goodness. So 35, 40 years ago, you could buy a house for 35 grand, and now it's 2,000% that much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Can you talk about some of the other developments? Like I know Dragon Ridge and
McDonald's Ranch.
Thank you, McDonald's Ranch.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trolling around up there because I was going to a friend's birthday party. It happened to be on a weekend. I was like, oh, there's some open houses. Let me stop in. It was like $8 million house, $12 million house, $9 million house. And now they're building that big, is it a Ritz-Carlton development or something? Like some condo?
Yeah, it's a high-rise condo in McDonald's Ranch.
Yeah, I looked up that website as well, starting at $3.2 million for a condo. So would that have been at all in like the thought process of what Henderson was going to become 10, 20 years ago?
No, people used to talk crap about Henderson, that it was like, because we were so far out there, and, they called it Hendertucky. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, so they're building high-rise condos in Hendertucky now.
Yeah. I remember when Green Valley Ranch went in. I was up here with my uncle visiting him. This is, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago. And he's like, oh my God, who would live all the way out in Green Valley? And now with the more modern freeway system we have here, it's like 15 minutes to get to his house, close to the strip. It's funny how much things have grown.
Well, and that's how it used to be. I swear it took a half hour to get to anywhere you wanted to go. In Vegas, Henderson, Boulder City, it was like, it takes a half hour. Now with traffic and everything, you could be in an hour if you want to get across town.
No way.
Yes.
An hour?
Absolutely. Aliante, have you driven out there?
No.
Holy crap. It's like the VA hospital's out there, I think. Is it Aliante or I think it is Aliante.
Pretty far out there.
Oh my gosh. That is like an hour track one way.
All these evil Californians drive.
Seriously.
For the record, I am a Californian who moved up here. Tell me a little bit more about your business, because you've actually built a business a couple times now based on economic cycles and different companies you've worked for. Like, how have you been able to stay in business for 25 years in what's a pretty volatile field? Like, I mean, there's things that you and I can do to keep business coming in, but we are kind of market dependent. We are kind of interest rate dependent, but like you've done a really good job of keeping a sustainable business. Some years better than others, but I think a lot of business owners, the market affects them and they just like give up and quit, or they change businesses, or they go get a 9-to-5 job if they're in an entrepreneur or commission job. Like, how have you stayed steady Eddie for 25 years?
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I would say steady Eddie. It's been, rough, up and down, and but I think you just have to keep pushing through. It's about relationship building, and I'm pretty transparent when it comes to, telling it like it is with a loan. So I don't like to sugarcoat it. So I basically will just say if I think it'll work, or if we can, make it work, or I don't know. I think that's probably one of the reasons that some of the relationships that I've made have worked out well. And you just keep pursuing those and can't give up, I guess, right? You just got to keep going for it.
I don't know how to do anything else.
That's all I know.
I don't want to watch dogs for a living.
I do kind of want to watch dogs, but when I do have bad days, I do want to watch dogs.
Can you talk a little bit about, you mentioned something like can get it done or can make it work. I think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to a loan officer, like there's value in the 25 years of experience you have putting deals together, right?
Yeah.
Like no offense, but the loan officer at B of A who was a teller a year ago, or the guy that's working for $12 an hour at some call center who's just getting fed leads,
Right.
they just don't have the same level. I don't even want to say of professionalism because they can be very professional, but they don't have the same level of expertise.
Yeah.
So why does Leah, having 27 years, basically a lifetime of knowledge of putting deals together, why should that even matter to the consumer? Because I don't think they understand why that matters to them. The realtors might get it, but a lot of consumers don't get like, okay, great, you've been doing this for 27 years. What's different in you from going to B of A or Wells Fargo or some online call center?
I think being able to look at a deal and look at income and, their employment history and their credit, and knowing ahead of time what could potentially be a red flag or could cause a hiccup in the loan. Or usually, when we meet with a client and we do our dreams and goals call, we get all of the information up front. I'll know ahead of time if it's going to work or not. Like either I say, we're going to have to do some credit repair for you, or we're going to need to make sure that, there's no large deposits or anything crazy. I think that just doing so many loans over my lifetime, that you kind of it's like you just learn from them, it's still there. It's in my head. I just know that, oh, okay, I've had that happen before. I've ran into this issue before.
Yeah. I think something a lot of people don't understand is like guidelines are just guidelines. It's like a painted strip on the road. Like you can kind of go across it and play in the gray area. And if you know how to structure deals and talk to your underwriters, like having that lifetime of knowledge really matters, right? Because I'm sure every scenario that comes across your desk, you're like, I've seen that be screwed. I've seen that get screwed up before, or maybe you've screwed it up before. And it's like sometimes failure is like the best lesson.
Yep.
What's the biggest screw up you've ever made, and how'd you fix it?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
That was a great interview question you recently used for finding a new executive assistant, and the answers were really fascinating.
I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. I've made a lot of mistakes. So, and then you learn from them. So, I can say right now, just even a deal that I'm working on right now, it's a condo purchase and there's 2 HOAs. And when you are working
Wait, why would there be 2 HOAs?
It's in Arizona, first of all, and I don't know why they have 2 HOAs, but they do. It's on a golf course, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, that one is for the golf course. I don't know.
One's for the golf course, one's for like the little community, probably multiple builders in that community, so different HOAs.
Yeah, and so you had to order 2 of the condo questionnaires. Well, one of the condo questionnaires, I guess, didn't get ordered, and now at the last minute, we're having to get the documentation we need for the litigation and all this stuff that's going on with this condo. And just now I will be like, the first thing I'm going to say is, if you have 2 condos, I'm just going to make sure we order both condo questionnaires right up front. It's just stuff like that. Like I just never would have thought about that. And my processor does that part of it. But now I'm going to remember up front to do that.
Yeah.
And just so I can be aware of it too, where I'm not going to just depend on my processor to go, okay, there's 2 condo questionnaires.
I think you specifically can teach something to like business owners that might be watching this, even if they're in a totally unrelated industry, about dealing with stress. Because I think what a lot of people, even realtors, don't understand about the mortgage space is all people care about is, did the loan documents get there? Do I have my money to buy the house? But the reality is you are just the repository of information to get this person to do their job at the insurance company, and this person to do their job at the title company, and this person to do their job at the HOA, and this person to do their job at the buyer's agent and the listing agent and the appraisal. Like, you don't really have control, nor do you employ any of those people, but the buck basically stops with you, because the last step is like, did we get the loan? Did we get the money? Right. But you're basically waiting on 11, 12, 13 other people that you have no control over.
Right.
And like the appraisal, we legally can't talk to them because of all the regulation in place. So how do you, one, manage that stress, and how do you communicate that out to your clients and your realtors of like, I can't really blame somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And just complete diffusion of responsibility. But it also, you only have so much control, or you have so much control, right? And it's the same thing in restaurants. They're waiting for their vendors, they're waiting for everybody, but it's like, all I care about, did my food get to my plate? Or did my plate get to my table? So can you talk a little bit about dealing with that stress and how you communicate with clients and realtors? Because I think any business owner who's waiting on other people can learn from your infinite experience in being frustrated.
I'm just always frustrated, Scott, just always. Just constantly, day by day. I think you just have to be very transparent about it. Like I literally am doing everything I can to make sure that we're getting the documentation that we need from all these different sources and people so that we fund your loan and we're closing on time. And sometimes, like this HOA document, it's a little out of my control, but today I had to involve the agents, the listing agent and the buyer's agent, and just so they're well aware that I am doing all I can. But hey, you guys, we're running into some issues and I need backup. Like, can you help me get these documents? Because they're not providing what I need. And ultimately, they want the deal to close. So, and I do too. We all get paid when the deal closes. But I think you just have to be honest about it. I don't think a lot of buyers realize that, we can't call the appraiser and ask them, why didn't the appraisal come in at that? Or why didn't the rent and schedule come in at that? We're not allowed to do it. And yeah, we take the brunt end of it.
Yeah. How do you like schedule your communication with clients? Because I know a big thing of yours is like, well, even if something is going sideways, it's totally out of my control. If I over communicate, this is one of the things I like about you and why I originally hired you, because I was like, oh, she just feels like a good communicator and an over communicator. So like, how much does that help if there's a problem, but you're at least communicating about it?
I think people just want an update. They don't want you to think they forgot about you. So I will just like today, this same little situation is like every 2 hours, I would say, hey, I'm still working on it. Just letting you know I haven't forgot about you. Or, you know what I mean? You just have to, it's just like anybody. You don't want to think they forgot about you. So if you just tell them, hey, I'm just checking in. I don't have an update, but that's my update.
Yeah. I want to circle back around to like property values going up and whatnot. How are you finding affordability for kind of like your average buyer in Vegas? Is it one of those things where they can't afford it and they're scared, or they're waiting for the market to crash, or they think there's going to be some smoking deal that's never going to exist again on rates or value or whatnot? Or are people legitimately getting priced out of the market in Las Vegas and Henderson?
I think a lot of people are getting priced out just because the property values have gone up pretty quick. And then with the rates going up the same time over the last couple years, it did, kind of push some people out of the market. But then I think it also just freaked them out. So I think you just have to talk to them and like I said before, ask them, what do you want your mortgage payment to be? And then let's focus on that and find something that's, in your price point, I guess.
Yeah. I want to talk about referral partners, because the lifeblood of almost any business is like referral partners, repeat clients. And luckily you were at a point in your career, as was I, where it's like, I don't have to work with everybody. I don't have to
Mhm.
beg for business from every realtor that's out there. Can you describe kind of like your perfect partner? Most of our referral partners are realtors, although we have some divorce attorneys and financial planners and whatnot. But what is like a good business partnership or a good referral partnership look like to you?
Um, a, a realtor that I enjoy working with is someone where we feel like we are partners. I know that they're going to, if I refer a deal to them or a buyer to them, that they're going to give them their full attention. They're going to make sure that they're doing the best they can for them. And I think realtors that I work with know I will do the same. And they'll know that, if the deal can get done, we'll do the deal. I can get it done. But if I don't think it can get done right away, or it's just not the right time for that person to buy, I can honestly say, we're going to have to wait, probably 3 to 6 months and try to do some credit repair or something like that. I just think being honest back and forth and having each other's back so that when, you get a new client, you're like, oh, I have the best agent for you, or I have the best lender for you. And I know they're going to take care of you. And we close a lot of deals together. So
I like that.
like partner over vendor, right? So,
Explain that.
so a vendor is basically just providing your product. They don't care about you or getting your business or anything. They're just providing a product. They don't have your back. They're not going to refer any deals to you. But as a partner, it's a partnership. You're going to refer each other. You're going to make sure that each other succeed, and you're going to try to make your business work together.
Yeah. I'm interested for people that are maybe local area, like, and they're thinking about what kind of marketing works for them, right? I was interviewing a guy, James, previous podcast, about how he's doing really well email marketing, social media marketing. He sells a product, like a $200 product. So people will make an impulse buy for a $200 bike pedal. But when you're thinking about houses are probably the biggest purchase that 99% of Americans are ever going to make. What have you found works for you for marketing or marketing follow-up, or like what channels are you using for marketing?
I think the best thing that we do right now is we have a system in place that we follow up. It's called Fledge. So have it's like a calendar reminder that tells us each day who we need to follow up with. So I can go in and I come in the morning. I have like 10 people I need to follow up with. Some of them are past clients. Some of them are new clients that were referred to us, or some of them might be from 2 years ago that we never touched base or they didn't end up buying a house, or they never, made contact anymore, kind of just ghosted us. So I think having followed up like that in place where it's not really like a CRM, it's more of just like a reminder.
Yeah.
We get a lot of business from that, I think. Social media, obviously, and social media doing the videos is really tough, but
I know you don't like being on video, so thank you for coming and doing a
yeah.
podcast.
So, but I guess, yeah, you have to do it. I get it. That's what everybody's doing.
But this circles back around to a word that you use a bunch of times with relationship. Like, I know you're really good at working the database and like staying in relationship with those people. So
Yeah.
I'm always like tickled when I see a deal come across and I'm like, oh, that's a client that I worked with like 4 years ago, or you recently closed a loan for somebody who I call my uncle. And it's like, he had never talked to you before.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to him one time about the deal. You were just like, oh yeah, we're working the database. We're talking to the people, and like the deals will come. So I would be willing to bet most business owners, they're constantly in pursuit of new. They don't follow up with their existing database.
Yeah.
So what percentage of your deals do you think are coming from like the existing database and the existing follow-up in that Fledge system?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot, really. And it's past follow-up, like from realtors that they gave us that information originally that they've probably lost touch with and have never kept in contact with. And yet, we're coming around, and sometimes we'll reach out to those clients that have been around for 2 years, 4 years, and they're like, yeah, I'm not using that agent anymore, but I think I'm ready to buy. So that's pretty cool if you can, keep in touch with someone like that.
Yeah, follow up for years because they'll become a deal eventually,
Yep.
right?
And then a refinance, and then, they might want to buy a new home, and their kids might want to buy a home. So it's like you just got to keep in touch, I think.
Yeah, easier to like retain a client forever
Yeah.
than like build a new one,
Right.
build a new one. I love that. I have some interesting questions like, what is a random skill or personality trait that you think helps your business? Or maybe something about your past that helps you stay resilient in your business?
I don't know. I have a good sense of humor.
There you go. That's a good one. I will tell you what I think it is like something about you, like you have a je ne sais quoi or a intangible where like people remember you. Like, I'm not joking. Every time we've been out, somebody has walked up, Leah, I've seen you forever. I haven't talked. Like, you are like a personable, memorable person.
I could say, yeah, I'm personable. I think I am.
Yeah. Does that just come naturally, or is that something I have to work on?
I have to fake it. No, I'm kidding. I think I'm personable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do outside of business that might surprise me or somebody that thinks they know you, but they don't know you really well? Like, what's a hobby or something you like doing? What's something about you that people don't know?
Oh, I love to watch TV. I do. I love to just binge watch. And it's bad.
What's like your guiltiest pleasure? What's the worst show that you watch that people will be like, oh man, I can't believe she watched this
It's
garbage?
those housewives.
No.
Yeah, those housewives get me every time. And then
You're like the
also-
Desperate Housewives of Orange County
Yeah.
reality show person?
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, and then
I'm glad you didn't tell me this in the interview.
you know what?
I might have thought
Then
less of you.
it's even worse. Me and my daughter watch shoot, what's it called? Love Island.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That might be the worst show on TV.
it might.
I have seen one episode, season finale, because I was visiting some friends in Idaho, and they were very gracious. Let me stay with them. They made me dinner every night. They were just like wonderful people when I was up there for a coaching event. And the loan officer who I coach is like, hey, Scott, kind of embarrassing. I'm like, what? He's like, well, I got teenage daughters. I'm like, yeah, they're lovely. And he's like, we watch Love Island every week as a family. Would you like to join us? And I'm like, sure. How bad can this be?
It's bad.
It was way worse than I expected. I mean, maybe the most garbage TV I've ever seen.
You have to start from the beginning though to like really get into it. So you just have you got to start from the beginning and go for it.
Do you remember Paradise Island? The one where they tried to get the couples to like cheat on each other?
I think I do.
So this must have been like 20 years ago. I had a girlfriend that watched
Yeah,
it.
I think I did.
Now we're going down the garbage TV route. And this is when I remember, like, this is when I realized that like so many men are just complete worthless pieces of turd. They had this guy who went there with his fiance, and she was lovely and beautiful and all the things and whatnot. And then they like quarantine the women over here and put a bunch of hot dudes over there to see if they'll cheat.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put a bunch of hot girls over here to see if the dudes will cheat. And the dude goes on some date with one of the models, and like they had her profile up. She was like Playboy model in med school, all the things, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm really looking for something a little bit more. And I'm like, more than what? It's just, oh man, I can't stand the reality show. I'm very glad you did not bring this up to me when we were interviewing him. I thought, well,
I love it.
all right. Oh, what's it been like raising your daughter out here? Because she's lovely. She kills it as a barista, by the way. I think I missed my calling. I should have worked at a bar or something.
Yeah, she's good at that.
No, when I tell people that I live in Vegas, they're like, oh, you're raising your kids in Vegas, and I'm like, yeah, there's temptation everywhere. You can get into trouble everywhere. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
different because I have 2 older sons too, but she's like 12 years younger than my, my middle son, so it's kind of been like she's kinda like an only child
Yeah.
because they were already grown, they have their own families and everything. Um, so she and it was weird too because she was a sophomore when the pandemic went on, so then
Oh,
there was like she had just started the brand new year of high school or sophomore year, and then there was no school, and then it was online school, and then that was horrible, horrible. So she ended up just doing an actual online school. I took her out of like she went to basic at the time. And I took her out of that and just started an online school. And I think that's where she really exceeded. Like really, she wasn't into high school. Like I remember I loved going to high school and hanging out with my friends and, doing all that, hanging out with your friends and going to parties. And it was all about social. She was the exact opposite. So she's just yeah, so in fact, she was so shy that when she first got that job as the barista, I was like, "Oh my god, how's she gonna do this?" She doesn't even like to order food to the waiter and waitress. She'd be like, "Mom, can you order for me?" I'm like, "No."
yeah. Well,
You're so
she's grown up and really
And now she's
shell.
like come out of her shell and she does really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's some businesses that are missing in Henderson? Like, what would you wish was out here that you're like, oh, I hate having to drive half an hour to the strip for that, or I
A
wish
bagel shop.
a bagel shop, a really good bagel shop.
Yeah, like even an Einstein Bagels I would like to have. Just a bagel shop, I think.
Okay, future business idea. Anybody that wants to open a bagel shop
Yeah.
on Water
You
Street,
need one of those.
Leah will be your first client in line for a bagel
Yeah,
shop.
I love a good bagel. I think a Pilates studio out here, like, deep old Henderson, not Green Valley.
Yeah.
We need one of those. Um, and you know what? Maybe there's talks of that. Who knows? There's so many businesses coming here. I'm sure there might be.
Yeah. It's funny how like I grew up in LA, so to go anywhere, it's like 1 hour table stakes just to get to a restaurant or an event or a friend's house. Like I see my friend, this is so weird. 3 of us that like grew up together, went to Boy Scouts together, stayed in touch. One of them lives in Rancho Cucamonga, which is about 45 miles from my old house in LA. One lives in Singapore. I see the one from Singapore more often than I saw the one from Rancho Cucamonga because like when my buddy would come in from Singapore, it'd be a big deal. We'd find an excuse to get together. The guy in Rancho, it's like, oh yeah, there's a UFC fight on tonight, but do I really want to drive 2 hours out there or take an Uber if I'm going to drink? And it's like, you just never get together in LA. I feel here, people are like, oh, Green Valley, so far away. It's like, oh, it's 12 minutes. Right?
Yeah.
But I found myself doing the same thing. Like I wanted to sign up at Lifetime for the gym there because they have, all the saunas and the tennis courts and all this stuff. But it's like, do I really want to drive 16 minutes to get to the gym when like my jujitsu gym is 7 minutes away?
Right.
It's funny how your world gets so compartmentalized in even Henderson, much less all of Clark County.
Yeah, we get people make fun of me and Vic all the time because they're like, "You guys don't go out of Henderson. You don't go out of your zip code." I'm like, that's not totally true, but
True.
I would prefer to stay, close to home. But
What do you and Vic do for fun
we,
besides watch TV?
yeah, he doesn't like the reality shows. We like entertaining.
Uh-huh.
We like, going and hanging out at the bars and on Water Street and eating dinner and hanging out with friends. And I like to throw like Halloween parties and stuff like that. I don't know. We like to entertain. I think that's our thing.
So this is going to be kind of weird, but tell people about your backyard because this kind of relates full circle to like buying a house. A lot of times people are like, well, I'm going to buy a house to get the one I really want. It's a little outside of my budget. And what I've tried to explain to people is like, when you own a house that you have like pride of ownership in
Mm.
and you're not trying to find every excuse to leave your 700 square foot apartment, like you will spend less money going out because you're just entertaining more people at your house. And I know you and Vic made a huge investment in your backyard to make it like really this entertainer's paradise. Like talk about why you did that and how much you entertain there and like how much money does that save you just bringing people over to your house to your backyard versus like, oh, we went out for another $200 meal. We went out for like more overpriced wine and whatnot. Like talk a little about building your dream backyard and like how that's played into your guys' lifestyle.
Yeah. So the house that we bought it in 2017, and it's in it's called Black Mountain Estates, and it used to be the first golf course in Henderson was Black Mountain Country Club, and it is no longer there. It was my backyard, and then now it's Lennar Homes, which I hate that, but whatever. I won't go down that road. Anyways,
Leah's still a little bitter.
I am
Golf
upset
has
about, but
closed.
we lost our view. And but anyways, we buy this house. It was built in 1962. It's very I can't even think of the word right now. What kind of
Like mid-century
mid-century
modern.
modern? Yeah, that's what it is. It's small. It's 1,200 square feet, but it's on a huge lot, and it was it was very old looking. Like it was old, but there was something about this house I just fell in love with. So we end up getting it, and I could just see the potential. So it already had a pool in it, but the pool was on the side of the house. The pool was built in the 70s, so it was very deep because it had a diving board, and it was very it didn't have like we didn't have gas. It was all electric. We didn't have a heater for the pool. There was copper pipes, so there was a lot of leaks and stuff like that. So the pool was ridiculous. So we hated where the pool was. They put it like right when you walked outside your back door or onto your patio. It was just this pool. It was and then the other side of the yard was this huge space that was leading up to the golf course. So anyways, during the pandemic, we got the wild hair to backfill the pool, and we ended up building a brand new pool where we wanted it on the other side of the house, and we put patio covers, made extensions on our patio. We did an outdoor kitchen, an outdoor fireplace. The pool where it's just a lot of seating in the pool where you just are really just sitting there floating or hanging out. And then we have, a big screen out there so you can watch football in the pool or movies, or we have a bar out there. We have a stage that we've had bands or, DJs or whatever that are on there. So it was a big investment, but it's something that I love that little house. And that's just like my favorite area. It's like the most beautiful backyard. I love it.
And how often do you guys entertain though? Like
A lot. Yeah.
every time I ask you, like, hey, you want to go do this podcast on the weekend? No, we got these people coming over. We got this group coming over. You got friend groups galore. Cause again, you're the mayor of Henderson. So
No. But there's a lot of people now that have pools, but a lot of friends didn't have pools, so they would come to our house. But yeah, it's fun.
So I know a lot of people in Henderson might be thinking like, oh, I've got a great interest rate on my mortgage. I don't know if I want to like sell and buy and go through that whole headache and start over again and whatnot. But there are some options for people to like renovate their home, right? So
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about some of the people that you've helped, several in the last couple of months,
Mhm.
like get access to capital because maybe they have a lot of equity in their house, but they need to add a bedroom or they want to redo their backyard for this entertainer's delight. Like what options do you have to help people that are like, oh, do I really want to get rid of my 3% mortgage?
Yeah, so you can keep that, and we can do you can do a home equity line of credit, or you can do a HE loan, which it's a 30-year loan that's fixed rate. A home equity line of credit is adjustable rate. So, just depending on what you're more comfortable with, and it just you don't have to take all of your equity out. You can just use it to what you want to use it for. Consolidate high interest debt. Build a pool, add-ons, whatever. But yeah, so you can tap into that without having to touch your low rate.
Yeah, because I think for a lot of people, it would probably be cheaper for them to renovate and make their house into the house they really want
Yeah.
versus selling and buying, right? If they're in the right location like you, if they have the right like guts and foundation of the
Yeah.
place that they like and they don't really want to move from the neighborhood, probably easier to just build what you want, especially if you're in Henderson, because not as many master plan communities as there are like in Summerlin.
Right.
But are you finding a lot of people just like kind of doing those like refreshers of their house versus buying something else?
Yeah, a lot of people are doing that, I think. Yep.
What question did I forget to ask you about Henderson since I haven't been here my whole life? Like, what's the story you want to tell about Henderson since you grew up here, your kids grew up here, all your friends are here?
I think just like what I said before, it's got, a small town feel still. And I think even though Henderson's, gotten so big, um, and it's not just like, see, when I think of Henderson, I always say old Henderson because that's like the 015 area code. That's old Henderson. And then, then there's like Whitney Ranch, and then there's Green Valley, and then there's all these places that just keep going out. And I'm like, that's not even Henderson, but it is, I guess. Um, but I think no matter where you're at, it's a small town feel, even though it's big.
I heard this stat one time that most people that are in a troubled marriage, they start therapy like 5 years too late. I feel like it's the same thing in the mortgage space where it's like people call us on Sunday night because they found a house on Saturday.
Yeah.
So how early should people be talking to about their finances, about what they can afford, about getting pre-approved for a loan? Like if somebody's listening to this and they're like, oh, I'm not going to buy for another year. Like how early out should people be talking to you as a local professional that can help them understand their finances and figure out what they can actually buy?
I say now, like a year. If you're thinking about it, start it. There's no better time than the
But
present.
Leah, what if you pull my credit? Like,
I'm not going to pull your credit. We do a soft pull.
explain what that is.
So we'll do a soft pull on the credit where it's not an inquiry. It doesn't show as a hit to your credit. It's usually TransUnion is the soft pull, but we can do a three bureau soft pull now too. And it just gives us like so we can see what's on your credit, but it's not a hit to it.
You won't get a million spam calls.
You won't get you won't get all the crazy marketing. And then we would do a hard pull once you're in contract. So we can do it literally whenever. Start it, take a look at it, make sure you don't have any credit issues. Because you never know what's on your credit if you don't really pay attention and
Right.
you haven't bought a house. And a lot of people think that, like Credit Karma is what their actual FICO score is, and it's not. So, we have a different mortgage score that we use, and it can be a lot lower than what's showing on Credit Karma.
Yeah, I know looking just at like our CRM and our Fledge contact manager, there's a lot of people that you've talked to where it's like, hey, they're on a 6-month plan. They're on a 12-month plan. We have one guy that's on like a 2-year plan, right? Because it's like he's got to do certain things to get himself in a place to buy. But if people don't have the conversation, they're just never going to know.
You never know.
Or they're going to believe some urban legend like, oh, I'm never going to be able to buy. I need 20% down. That's not the case. Like rents are so expensive here. You might not get exactly what you want, but you can probably buy a house for similar cost to what some of the more expensive rentals in the area cost.
Yeah.
Besides Henderson, what did I forget to ask you about your business? Because the problem is I know everything about your business and I have all this tribal knowledge about mortgage. So what might consumers or realtors need to hear that are thinking about buying a house or thinking about working with you as a lender partner?
Starting the process, I guess, just if you're a new buyer, if you're thinking about buying, just like what we talked about, it's start it early so that you know exactly what you're getting in for. As far as realtors, I think the partnership. Do you want a vendor or do you want a partner?
I love that. What's the craziest story you can tell us about Henderson to close out the podcast?
The PepCon blast.
The what?
PepCon blast.
Okay, first of all, that was a very fast answer, and I have no idea what the PepCon blast is. So why don't you go ahead and describe that for the people that haven't lived in Henderson their whole life?
Oh, gosh. I was at Burkholder. I was in 8th grade, and there was a plant of, I don't know what the plant, see, I should know this. I think it was 83 or 84 or something like that. Anyways, a plant exploded, and it was literally like a mushroom cloud. All the windows in my house blew out. The kids at school, it was like we got bombed.
Did people think like we got nuked or something?
Yeah. And there was a mushroom cloud, because there were several explosions. And then, like us kids, we ran out, all the teachers are freaking out. And you look in the sky and there's just more explosions. And we're like, oh my God. Yeah, you have to Google it.
The PepCon Blast.
PepCon Blast. It was May 4th, I think 83.
May 4th. Okay, I'm going to look that up. Because I remember in elementary school and junior high, we had to watch those horrible public service movies about like, if there's a nuclear blast, get under your desk and wrap yourself in newspaper because there's lead in newspaper. What the hell is that going to do? So that must have been like terrifying.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying. No, because we didn't know what it was.
Wow, that's wild. Did you guys was it safe to breathe the air for a while? Did everybody get
There was a curfew, like you couldn't go out that night. A lot of people's windows got blown out. So like there was that people were dealing with. But yeah, it was crazy.
Okay, let's end on a happy note. Recently, I went to the car show on Water Street, and then the next weekend I went to the night out where they had all the fire departments and police department stuff. What's some of the most fun events that you've seen held on Water Street, like as a local that you're like, oh, we try not to miss that every year, parades or festivals or whatever?
Yeah, so they used to have a parade. I would think it was in April, and the carnival used to come, and now the carnival still comes. It's just up by the city of Henderson. But I mean, any of those parades, the car show, you saw all the people. So I think anytime that we have parades on Water Street and everybody goes down there and all the businesses are participating and there's, people are walking their dogs and it's just awesome. I love that.
That's cool. Well, that's the way to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, Leah. How should people get in touch with you?
I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Loans by Leah, Leah James Vega, or you can call me on my cell, or you can.
I won't give that on the podcast, but we'll link to your Calendly to make sure
contact me on my Calendly.
There you go. Yeah, I don't want to put your phone number out there and on YouTube. You'll get a bunch of spam calls. But yeah, we'll definitely put all the links to get in touch with Leah on YouTube and Spotify and all the places.
Okay.
And thank you for coming in. I know you don't like being in front of the camera. We've been trying to schedule this for a while, but I appreciate you getting out of your comfort zone because you're great at loans and uncomfortable on camera, which I don't know why, because when you walked in, I looked at the camera. I'm like, oh, you look great on camera. What are you talking about? Like, no complaints. So, good interview. Thank you, Leah.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, it's Scott Groves with the Henderson HQ podcast. I hope you got something out of that episode. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. It really helps the show grow. And by the way, if you are a business owner or you know a business owner who has an interesting product, service, or just an interesting backstory, please get in touch with us. Email us at thehendersonhq@gmail.com. We would love to interview you because that's what this show is all about. It's about building community, supporting local, individually owned businesses, and just making Henderson a great place to live. And don't forget, go to hendersonhq.com and make sure you sign up for our newsletter. We send out a once-a-week newsletter, no spam, about the most interesting local businesses, hotspots, restaurants, community events. Thanks for watching the show. Really appreciate you.